Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and as always, welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussions. This time, we are discussing Fievel Goes Weird West. There's a lot of things we could do there. I could go Fievel Goes Crazy, but no, we don't want to do that. We're kind of keeping it eldritch stuff in the background until you start messing with it type of thing is what we've currently been going for. But getting into what we're talking about today, Fievel Goes Weird West, we are in our Showdown at High June is the theming of the month, so it's Western, and we are going to be using a lot of inspiration from our shout out as well as Mouse Ritter into and making it feel kind of fun and different, and it's something that can happen within by itself or within the shoutouts setting and system. So there you go. That's what we've got for now. It's time that we do Dan's introductions and announcements. So let's see. I believe I said I was going to let Skrat go first this time. So Skrat first.
Yes, I am Skrat from A Squirrel Plays over on YouTube, only YouTube unless you count Discord, and I make videos about TTRPG reviews. I've had a lot of them so far this year. It's not my main focus. My main focus was supposed to be talking about the narrative side of things, such as world building, making things interesting there, making interesting characters, interesting plot lines, and things like that. Recent video I did of recording this was about making a monster, and we just completely skipped over what it looked like physically for the most part. It was more of the impact this monster had on the world and how you can use that for their surrounding environments and giving people reasons to do things. That's what I like to get into because you can use it for your TTRPGs, you can use it for video game design, you can use it for story writing design, whatever it is you're into that has a story. So get a little more use out of it. But there is a heavy focus on TTRPGs there. And that's me.
All right. Which means we're back to me. And I am Adam L. Spain with the Inn of Planar Crossroads. You can check us out on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all those type of things. All this stuff that's on our webpage, innofplanarcrossroads.com or theiopc.com. Either one of those should work. Currently, we're working on getting these pages set up and everything, but also if you want to support that, what supporting gets you is you get your name at the back of at the end of these. We have our bloopers and outtakes, and that's where we put our supporters on there. So if you want to get on that, it also gets you access to our Discord where we will share these things, these PDFs that I'm making. So there you go. And I think that's mainly it for me. Is there? I think that's it. So if that's it, we can go into. If we're done with Dan's introductions and announcements, we can go into our shout out, which is. There we go. Levi's spotlight for Tales from Elsewhere. Now, this again is somebody we've already shouted out before. In fact, he's been on before. We've interacted before. So this is nobody new, but it is somebody who we're taking a large amount of inspiration from, kind of playing around in his setting. So we're shouting him out for that. Like we said last time, he needs to get to 4,000 if he's going to really solidify his lead in the subscriber count. So over me and Skrat anyway. So go ahead, check him out, and you can do that there. And since we're using so much of his stuff, we won't have to do too much more on this shout out. So we can say we're done with Dan's introductions and announcements. We're done with Levi's shout out. Let's once again grab our preferred beverage, whether appropriately eldritch themed or not, and you can come in, join us around the hearth in the Councils of Kane as we discuss Fievel goes weird west. Skull.
I already drank all mine.
Should have filled up while I was getting stuff ready.
Yeah, by the time I thought about it, you were already mostly done. So I was like, I'll get it next time.
All right. So we're coming in. Fievel goes weird west. This is the adventure hook one. So we're taking some things from our previous discussion and bringing them down into here. And usually we will do it where we take some of the world building locations. We'll take like Thorn's Haberdashery, Thousand Spears, and Grand Oak Torden as our inspirations for those three. The first one is kind of open. It's usually more of a lower level. Then we have a mid-ish level with the adventure hook, the second one. And then the third one is probably going to take place in Torden, in Grand Oak Torden, but we'll see. So, what were you thinking for these ideas so far?
Well, for the plot hook, I was thinking it would actually be an introduction to your entire setting. There's going to be a blood oiler boot in the middle of nowhere, and it still has the foot in it, but it's still got like some of the oil and stuff. And this is where you, as the GM, would have to decide if you want just the oil corrupting other mice and maybe other creatures too. Like it just gets in them and mutates them more like that original plague that Jacob had made. We talked about in the last episode, and I still can't remember what he called them, but infected, plague, darkened, whatever, the sick. If you want to go that route, or since blood oilers are part machine, part fleshy bits, you could start bringing in some machinery and have like either mutated creatures or self-moving mechanical parts appear around this boot. Like because that's where the oil was, right? And it's leaking out of this boot, and then it starts infecting other things. So that's the source, but it kind of branches out, and then people being mice, the mice start hearing things like, oh yeah, I saw this just pocket watch moving on its own or whatever, or
the residents of Dodge.
Yeah, it's things like that. You could start in Dodge, and then you're hearing all those rumors, and then since you're playing Mouse Ritter and travel, if you're playing Mouse Ritter, where travel is a big part, like just staying alive and not starving, that kind of thing, and getting to your goal, that would be most of your venture, is just getting to the boot. And then when you got to the boot, that is when you
light up the oil.
You realize where it all comes together. Like there might not even be a BBEG to fight, or maybe there's just one nasty creature there to fight. Like you finally get to see the darkened / sickened or whatever it is you decide to put in there for yourself for the first time. You just get to see one, and it might be a pretty brutal fight, which is actually kind of similar to the adventure that me and Peter both talked about recently. So you could have that, but that would be your big reveal. Like, oh, this is the world now that we live in. Like, this is what's happening. This is the start. So it's almost like your prologue to the world kind of thing.
Okie dokie.
So you could have... Yeah, I like it, because you could have a very just Western mouse adventure for the most part, and you're going to investigate this weird thing, and then at the end, you get the weird, and you're like, that's what we're in. So your normal West is gone at that point. There's no turning back. If that makes any sense.
So elsewhere comes to Dodge. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then...
a whole boot full of trouble.
Ooh, a boot full of trouble?
Yep.
Should we say a boot full or a boot load?
I would think boot full. Because when load, I think like truckload, boatload, things like that you normally load up. So, which good.
Bootload
or a boot's worth of trouble. Oh, wait a minute. So there's a snake in my boots. Can you do something with that? There's a blood oiler in my boot.
That might give too much away about what they gotta do, I think.
Yeah. I like a boot full of trouble. Or problems, or whatever it was.
Alright, so next time is the character thing, so I'm gonna spoil somebody's name for the characters coming up, so there you go. For you guys.
Gonna mess up your editing here. So I was just thinking a really cool idea would be once you go on that whole adventure, right? And then you get to the boot, and then you have a little showdown with one infected rat or whatever it is, and then however you want to do it in the TTRPG, but I'm envisioning the cinematic thing here, right? You have the big showdown, the groups just like, man, that was really, really, really tough. I'm glad there was just one. Camera zooms out, and there's like a ton of infected rats and everything else all around the boot, and it just ends there.
That's fair.
Yeah. Not to kill the party, but it's like, just again that realization of, oh, yep, this is,
well,
we're not stopping it. It has happened already.
Something you could do is that so let's say they go ahead and destroy the boot. So they're on the outskirts. They got to go to the outskirts, and they go ahead. They beat whatever creatures there around the boot right then, and then they burn the boot because oil's flammable. So they burn the boot, and they think they've done it, and then you as the GM can have the camera pan up as they're going away, and you just see off in the distance, not too far where it's hard to see or anything, but you see or recognize off in the distance Torden, Grand Oak Torden, and a little light kind of flickers inside Grand Oak Torden. And that can give like a signal to the PC, to the players, not to the PCs, but to the players, that's the far off location that's kind of going to be important, where a lot of the bad stuff's happening. Grand Oak Torden, because it's got the big wreck by that big oak. So still cinematic set piece. And you can have like you said, scattered body parts of the oilers and stuff.
Well, yeah, like a limb, vulture comes down, tries to eat it, gets some oil.
Yeah.
There you go. There you got a crazy vulture.
That'd be like a dragon, because they spit their vomit.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
They spit oil.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Ooh. I would say for like, it's a cool thing. Like if that was actually a thing in TFE, that's just a quick from the players. That's no big deal. But for the mice, yeah, that's like a dragon coming down at them.
Yeah.
Very cool. Peter, you can use that. I'll only take 10% of all your earnings for that one idea in your whole setting.
So maybe if we want to get them out further away, we might say recently corrupted creatures have been troubling people. Okay, so it reads like this, bullet points. The residents of Dodge want the PC's help. Recently corrupted... I can just delete that. There's no reason for that tip. So recently corrupted creatures are troubling people trying to settle on the furthest outskirts of town. Sheriff Wyatt Chirp has to stay around Dodge to protect things here, but doesn't want the problem to fester. Group has to journey out and solve the problem if possible. Suggested solution for GM: burn the blood oiler boot/foot that has the oil seeping out and corrupting things. And then we have that secondary GM note.
Vultures. Dragon vultures. That's the important note.
Well, maybe the dragon vultures live around Grand Oak Torden, where the big wreck is.
Yeah.
So, and they're what's bringing things back. Ooh, they're what's bringing things back to Torden to be corrupted. That's pretty... Okay, so Adventure Hook 3 material, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, GM note here. Alright, so the GM note reads, GM note, you may want to pan up and away following a trail of oil drippings that leads to Grand Oak Torden, showing a corrupted vulture nibbling on a blood oiler carcass.
Yeah.
All right.
The red eye just...
Yeah, and you have like the violin sting when it's you just see it nibbling, and then it looks up and it's ching.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So what's going to happen in Thousand Needles then? Maybe the PCs have to go there to... Maybe they're a trade partner with Dodge.
Cool.
They've got the agricultural portion with the plants and stuff, and other things that they might be harvesting. So, their own little version of peyote or something. But
that's for the adults table.
So, let's see, what was it called? Jerboa tribe. Okay.
So maybe something's going amok in the trade route between there and Dodge. Maybe their pet bird hasn't returned because a vulture got it. Ooh, you could like go find the bird and find it dead on the ground, and by the time you get to it, it wakes up because it's infected with oil.
Okay. So
Maybe
here's...
a bit much.
Well, let's see. So I got an idea with that. So first off, the Jerboa tribe. Okay. Oh.
Hey, that unga and bunga chunga wunga.
Yeah. Alright, well, we got to name this one. So I'll read it out for you viewers, and then we'll think of a name. So, Adventure Hook 2. The Jerboa tribe in Thousand Needles has not sent their normal trade caravan to Dodge for exchange. This is worrying, as the resident of Dodge that makes the run, Old Man Zill, is usually very punctual but slow. It's the turtle. The PCs are tasked with figuring out what the problem is. The PCs will find a wounded set of Jerboa tribespeople, Unga Bunga, Chunga, and Wunga, who know who has captured Old Man Zill. They'll suggest getting directions from Lady Thornfeather at the top of Thousand Needles. I think that one works. I'm looking over Dan's thing. I think that'll be the help with the third one. So, what do we gotta call this one? How about... Slow and Steady lost the race? Question mark. That might work for...
That's not bad.
So, let me see. We'll put another GM note here. Okay. So, GM cinematic note for at the end of Slow and Steady. Before, so the PCs may rest 1,000 needles after. Wait, did we go through this yet? All of it? I don't know that we did.
I don't know, man. You were getting carried away and adding so much.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, so
you had one shot ready to go.
Yeah. Well, all of these are supposed to be like one shot things. So okay, so Slow and Steady lost the race? Question mark. I know we read about Chunga. Okay, I made a few changes. Lady Thornfeather is old but gives good directions and is friendly towards the PCs. The location is a cave on the edge of the Jerboa tribal lands. The PCs can rescue Old Man Zill by defeating the bandits, all of which display early signs of mutations. The PCs may rest at 1,000 Needles before returning home. If they do, Lady Thornfeather will happily host them again. Happy ending, ellipses. GM cinematic note at the end. Lady Thornfeather will look out over the lands of 1,000 Needles, then take flight. She will fly towards Grand Oak Torden. She sees something that widens her eyes. Before she can return to give news to the tribe, a shadow looms over her mid-flight. With a gasp from her, fade to black.
No.
So
pretty good.
Yeah. And then we got one more to do. And this one is going to be the one that at first I was like, it's going to take place in Grand Oak Torden, but I've got an idea, and you let me know what you think, or if we should take it that grim or not. So, my idea is that it's a normal day. Maybe they've done another adventure or two that have kind of been maybe not related to the main plot that the GM's wanting to do with Grand Oak Torden. And then all of a sudden, Lady Thornfeather crashes down just at Dodge. And everybody is rushing out and they don't know what happened, and she calls for she asks for the PCs by name. And then after she asks for the PCs by name, by the time they get out there, there's this hesitancy from everyone around, and as they come into the crowd, they see that Lady Thornfeather's there, and she's showing signs of mutation. But she's come here, and she's telling them, you have to go here, you have to stop them, this and that, and this and that. And she's doing like, it's not an exposition dump, but she's doing like a call to action in those moments, while she's also mutating into the next thing they have to fight. Stop.
Hey man, I'm all for taking away what the players got attached to.
So
yeah, let them do a few quests for that NPC, and then yeah, she dies while turning into the thing.
Okay, so
that could. Are you thinking about making that the introductory kind of thing, similar to the boot option? Like that's going to be the first time they see something like that, or would they kind of know what the oil is by now?
I think they know they might have known by now what the oil is doing. They piecing things together. But this may be the time that they're like, we need to go to destroy the Grand Oak, whatever's happening at the Grand Oak Torden. We need to stop that, or this is going to be happening again and again. It's going to keep on happening. That the source of it is the Grand Oak Torden, the crash at the Grand Oak Torden, and then that will be the big end dungeon crawl that they do to make it through. So this is like the penultimate mission to the big long end mission.
So they've had a lot of time to get attached to this character.
Yeah. So that
even better.
Yeah. So that GM cinematic can happen, mid-game after they've already met her and like her. Okay, so I actually need to change that then. It's not at Grand Oak Torden. It's at Dodge. So it'd probably be best if this happened maybe after 1 or 2 exchanges with Thousand Needles, and maybe she sent the PCs something that they had talked about or something like that. So just if you're watching this and you actually want to play this, then that might be a thing. Okay. So this one reads, out of the clear blue sky, Lady Thornfeather crash lands just outside Dodge after having disappeared from Thousand Needles for a while. She calls for the PCs by name, but by the time they get there, a ring of pedestrians has formed around her. The PCs see why. She is rapidly mutating. She tells the PCs that the mutation is coming from Grand Oak Torden and the blood oiler machine that crashed by it. Her pleas lead into a battle where her wretchedly mutated flightless form, during which she continues to plead with them while battling.
Be cool if the wings, you said flightless, it made me think of it during the mutation, her wings turned more into arms instead.
Yeah, almost like a flightless wyvern type thing.
Yeah, like they kind of crook forward like this and have the knuckles at the end and just like an extra set of gorilla arms almost. You know how they walk on them like that?
Mm-hmm.
But be particularly longer than arms because they're wings, but give it a little creepy feel to it.
Let's see, that one could just be called Out of the Clear Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Lull your players into it. And it's like, this one, I got this one, guys. It's titled Out of the Clear Blue Sky, yeah?
It'll be just fine.
Oh, it'd be really good if it was just after like after a festival thing or something like that, where they were in, like it was a downtime episode or something.
Oh no!
And then all of the sudden, Out of the Clear Blue Sky, and it's like, oof! Oh no! What's up? So, yep, there we go. I think this one works quite well, and it looks like we've got what we need on those. Or at least we've got plenty to start with. I went a little flowery. I'm going to have to really condense down slow and steady.
I was say, like, I know these are all for one shots, but like you were really planning out your one shot there.
Yeah. I was on a roll.
Oh. You were? Well, I'll let you go.
Okay. So, we hope you enjoyed those. We hope you liked our feedback. It's time, since we finished this, it's time for Skrat's final question.
Ooh, yeah, I should have been prepping. I always forget about that.
It's your segment.
I know, and I have a list. It's like I said, it's deciding on which one to do. Okay. Yeah, this will be good for this one since we talked about world building and plot hooks. What's the difference between a cursed object and a magical one in a world that doesn't fully understand either?
I guess the drawbacks would be the answer. Because, like, would you consider, let's take a famous one, Excalibur to be a cursed object if whomever takes it up becomes the King of England? But if becoming the King of England is not what you want, and it's not a good thing in your book, would that then be a curse?
I'll say, like, it's something that seem to give you good things. Somebody could still have a superstition belief about it and then call it cursed. It's like, oh, well, these bad things happened because he got this. Yeah, he's king, but these other terrible things happened.
Yeah, monkey paw's way to do it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that might be how somebody in that world sees that item and why they would call it cursed. Dang it, I had a thought and I just lost it. Gone now. Man, yeah, I really wish I had held on to that.
Well, I do think it depends a lot on how it all lays out in your setting too. As if magic is an acceptable thing in your setting, then it's not a big deal. You can have cursed objects. It's your question presumes that magic is not common because they don't know how it works. So you're already making that presumption. So to answer the question, it would still come down to what the drawbacks actually are if it's cursed, at least how I'm looking at it.
I say, are you looking at it from like GM perspective and mechanical, or like how people of that world would define it?
A little bit of both, but because there's, like, if you look at cursed items, so a good way to think about it is, or a good way to kind of figure it out is, there are two types of items in games, in tabletops like Pathfinder and D&D, at least the older ones. You had intelligent items, and then you had cursed items. And cursed items could be intelligent, but not all intelligent items are cursed. They just have a will of their own.
Okay. So, that came up in the server the other day. Somebody talking about magical items always being sentient in older games or something like that.
They had a possibility of being sentient. They weren't always sentient. But
it was past a certain limit. That somebody, I think they said anything past +2 was always had a mind of its own or something like that. It's always yakking at you. I think they were talking about annoying magic items. That's what it was. There was a question of the day about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they in older tabletop, you would have to deal with intelligent items. You'd have to deal with magical items having an intelligence of their own because of a lot of that comes from the Vancian magic system. Because Vancian magic, true Vancian magic, not like from the books, not from just what it inspired, like D&D, but from the books. Vancian magic was literal. Magic were literal things that you were memorizing. It was like an entity you memorized. That's why you memorize spells. By memorizing it, they meant you were placing it in your mind and holding on to it until you were ready to use it. And then you used it, and then if you wanted to use it again, you had to go re-memorize it because it has escaped you. It has escaped your mind.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
So, it is a cool way to do magic when you actually do it that way.
Yeah.
But most people, when they hear about memorizing spells, they think about us memorizing things, and that's not what it meant.
Mm-hmm. No, I get you. Comment of the day. I don't know. Don't forget. Is it something about memorizing spells or?
Well, let's see. It done escaped your mind, I guess. Done escaped your mind. It has to be done escaped your mind, not it escaped your mind, because you got to get the done in there to get it right, you listeners.
Done, gone, and went, escaped your mind.
All right. I guess that's Skrat's final questions, plural, because we kind of went through a couple of them.
We did. But that's all right.
Yeah. We hope you have enjoyed, travelers and viewers. I kind of went a little into this one. It's not long for y'all because I'll edit out all the silence, but It was so it'll probably be quite a bit shorter for y'all. But hopefully you enjoyed and got something out of these. Do remember to check out Tales from Elsewhere, who we've been shouting out this month, since it is our Western themed month. So check those out if you would. And then check out Skrat at A Squirrel Plays on YouTube. He's made some vids recently. Talked about, like he mentioned in the first chat, he talked about, in his most recent one of our recording, using fear as a narrative device. Pretty good points. Did not mention how my character was willing to give himself up and sacrifice himself to blow up the Blood Oilers, but he didn't have to. But he made a like epic quote and stuff. So
I had to go back and watch parts of that stream because I had forgotten so much. So I was like, did we have a wagon that was going to blow up? I feel like we did.
Yeah. I made this epic quote from Jeremiah. If you want to know what the quote was, go watch the stream on Avenue Studios if you want.
There you
go. But check out Skrat from A Squirrel Plays over there on YouTube. And, of course, you are here on the In a Planar Crossroads. That's inaplanarcrossroads.com or theiopc.com. Either one of those works. Remember that if you choose to support us through Patreon, Subscribe Star, Locals, whichever one of those, PayPal, there's lots of options there. And supporting even once gets you on your name on our, unless you don't want it to, it gets your name on our outro, not our outro, our bloopers and outtakes section. We have them there, and they are put right there. And it also gets you access, more importantly, to our Discord, where you can chat with us and do things like that, and get access to the PDFs that I'm making. So there you go. I think that's everything, travelers. So as always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
I said stop yawning.
It's not late, it's like
No.
Okay.
I have a bad habit of that. Like, there's a lot of classes I sat in on, and I'd be like really zoned in, paying attention, but just yawning. And the teacher get frustrated. Like, I'm paying attention, I swear.
Well, you may just not be breathing enough.
Yeah.
Because that's what yawning is.
Sit in the back of the class, just going.
Practice your mindful breathing while you're paying attention.
I guess so. See, I'm so tuned in, I forget to breathe.
That's what we'll say.
Yeah. Oh. Sneezed all over me. Rude.
It's a cat. I don't know that she cares if she's rude.
Not at all.